All right, here we are. We are live with another announcement with Mary Murphy and Dave Fisher. How's it going, Mr. Fisher? How are you today?
I'm good, very good.
Awesome.
He's sitting down in sunny Ocean City at the moment.
Nice, right on. So, Mary, how are you doing today? So I put in the caption. Something about our conversation yesterday was just, to me, it just makes me laugh because you were absolutely against any type of recruiting whatsoever, and you really haven't done any recruiting as it is. But tell me a little bit more about why you were so against that.
Because I didn't want to be distracted by anything else. Like I was like just laser focused on building my business and my team, and I didn't want any shiny objects getting in the way. So I didn't even want to hear how great it was. I believed that it was, and I didn't really care about the stock either. Like I understood I was going to make stock by getting Icon, and the business, I could tell it was growing, but I didn't want to focus on it. I'm like, all right, I'll send the 5%. I'd be paying that as a royalty anyway. I'm not even going to notice it. And I'll get it at 10% discount, but I'm not going to focus on it. I don't want to focus on anything except for building my team. So that was really why I was so against it. It wasn't because I was closed-minded. It was because I didn't want to
you had clarity on what you were trying to accomplish.
Exactly. So that was why.
That's great. So how did you guys meet?
Actually, Mary sold my last house for me.
Nice.
I knew I'd met her husband Brian through insurance, and when it was time we needed to sell our house, I reached out to Brian. He connected me with Mary, and that's where it all started.
Right on. Awesome. And so you've been in real estate, Dave, now, what is it, 3 years now?
Yeah, about 3.5.
Awesome.
Now.
Awesome. So what's kind of your perspective, being in the business, 3 years and having done some deals? I'm not sure what company did you come from, Keller Williams or?
Keller Williams, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. So the differences, and when you looked at, EXP, did you reach out to Mary and ask her about it, or how did that go? How did that happen?
Yeah, I had actually done a little research on my own first, and then I, of course, knew Mary had moved over to EXP. So naturally, the next step was to reach out to her and talk to her, talk to Brian, and get their perspective and their feel of things. And it wasn't necessarily anything that Keller Williams did wrong, but for me, I was just looking for a different opportunity, something a little more for myself.
Right. Love it. What was there anything that stood out in particular that really caught your attention about this model?
I mean, for me, it was a combination of, the business model of EXP, obviously the compensation a little different, what the different type of platforms that EXP had to offer, and the online stuff kind of fits my personality a lot better.
Right.
I like some of the stuff that EXP's given us. I'm gonna start exploring the KV core. I already, I've been here 2 weeks. I already got certified for express offers.
Nice.
I'm gonna start looking to integrate that into my business. So it was that, and the combination of that and knowing Mary and knowing what her goals are with her team, and having the opportunity to help build the team there at EXP.
Right. Love it.
So it was a combination of those two things combined really made this stick out to me as, hey, I think this is where I want to be the next step in my real estate career.
I love that you mentioned the express offers and getting certified for that, because I think that's a phenomenal program. And I don't know, I haven't paid enough attention to what other companies are trying to do to compete. But for us as agents, I believe one of the biggest threats that we have is that that the consumer goes to Zillow offers or to OfferPad, to Open Door, or any of these investment these companies that will buy houses for cash, instead of coming to us where they should, because the seller should want as many offers as they can get. You really don't. You want to be exposed to the entire market to see what are all the offers that you could get. And so the Express Offers platform is exclusive to EXP. It keeps the agent involved, but it allows you to submit that property to multiple investors and potentially get multiple offers, which is always in the seller's best interest. So again, that's just another one of the notches in the belt of EXP, is being forward thinking and using this platform to help agents with their businesses and that kind of thing. So very, very cool program.
And it's cool for the marketing part of that too, is that you see how many agents do we know they're like, I'll sell it in 24 hours, or I'll get you an offer in 24 hours, or if I don't sell it, I'll buy it. Whatever those are, I would always read those. They seem so gimmicky to me. And also, I was never willing to be like, I'm either going to sell it or I'm going to buy it. Like, I don't want to put myself in that position. Here, it's also a good marketing strategy because it's like, hey, listen, we're going to sell it for you however you want us to sell it for you. And we can absolutely get you an offer right away. And we can, because we have investors already who have agreed. They have their criteria. And if it meets that criteria, we have a buyer for them. So I just think it's another one of those win-wins that they figured out how to make it best for us as agents and the sellers as well. And most sellers aren't going to choose that option. It's not going to be the right fit for most sellers, but for some it will, and then it's just a great benefit.
It's a great marketing.
It'll be nice.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to be able to just, when you have those offers, to be able to show them, okay, here's what this offer is. Here's what you'll get. Here's what's going to happen if we sell it, the traditional way, and what you'll get and how long it's going to take. That was a nice thing to see, is how you factored in, okay, yeah, you can sell it the regular way and make more money, but it's going to take this amount of time to sell. You're going to have to make, 2, 3, maybe 4 more months of mortgage payments. When you figure it all in and compare it to one of these other offers, it makes it a lot more attractive maybe to them.
Right. Yeah. For some people that need it gone now and don't want to have to deal with the hassle. I had a scenario like that where I had a client that, and I was doing the guaranteed sale. And the reason I was doing it is because it worked. People that want to sell the home and want to know that it's going to be sold, they have a sense of urgency, and they took my offer. I didn't expect them to, but they did. It was the first time I ever had that happen. And they didn't tell me this, but it was because the husband had just found he had cancer and he only had a few months to live, and they wanted to spend that time with their with their family in Florida, and they didn't have to worry about the house. That extra $10,000 didn't matter to them. And so there's situations where it makes sense for someone to take maybe a little less offer to not have to deal with the hassles. And so somebody's got to protect the real estate industry. I mean, we're Zillow don't care about us. I mean, they proved that. I've been saying that for 10 years, more than 10 years. They've proven it now that they're full on competition. You've got all these other disruptors out there that are trying to remove the real estate agent from the transaction. And here you have EXP trying to do what's best for the agent, help give them a platform to help the clients in a better way. And I don't see any other companies out there doing that. And so that makes me just feel good that at some point it made a priority list, and they executed on that really rather quickly, in my opinion, and rolled it out, across the country. I don't know if we're on all 50 states, but we're certainly approaching that. So super cool. That's just one of the nuggets about EXP. A lot of times we don't talk about, but anything else that you'd like to add as far as kind of doing the research and kind of how you're looking at your business and how EXP is helping, provide some value to you as an agent?
I mean, that pretty much summed it up. We have another, CRM platform that they're using. So one of the things that I'm going to do on my end is kind of explore KV Core and kind of learn the ins out to that and see how it compares to what we're using and how we can either, if it's better, switch to it. If it's not, if how I can integrate it and work them together, and see how that works. But I'm excited to get into that and start playing around with that and seeing what capabilities it has.
That's the great thing about Dave too, is that like, he's like, well, we get KV Core. I'm like, we use Chime. Like, I don't have time to look into another system. So he's like, all right, well, I'm going to look into a system and then we can talk about it. And at least then I'll have some knowledge on it, which is so exciting to me because I know that I'm not going to do that, right? Because I'm laser focused and I know I'm using Chime. It's working. It's great. And I don't have time to just learn another system or interest to do that, right? So I know KV Core is great. Chime's working. Not going to switch, but Dave is going to look into it. And then I know Dave's going to come to me and tell me if there's something different or better. Right. And if there is, I'm open to hearing about it. And if not, it's still great for those agents who come over not on our team, right? They may have questions for us about KV Core and I wouldn't be able to answer them. But I can send them somewhere where they can learn about it. I couldn't personally answer those questions. So I was really happy that Dave had that interest. Yeah. And that's that whole one big fire you talk about, right? I don't have that interest, but now I have someone with me who does. So it's helpful,
Absolutely. I love it. I always tell people if you're using something that's working, then keep it. Don't make it a priority to switch just to save the money, unless that is the number one priority. So in most cases, if that's not the number one priority, is to switch technologies. That's a good way to get frustrated real quick. There's plenty of other opportunities to focus on. So yeah, you keep what you're doing, and then at some point, if it makes sense to transition and save that money, then go save that money.
Right.
I think what will end up happening is that we can use the two to complement each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We can use the best parts of one and the best parts of the other and use them together to complement each other.
Right.
That'd be great. And that's the thing, going back to what Jay said earlier about the disruptors in the industry and just with, all the people who are really going after our industry. It's another reason why you want to be aligned with big thinkers. It's only big thinkers here because you had to be open-minded in order to take on this opportunity and in order to really understand it. So that means you're surrounded by other people who also did that. So then we're going to all win, right? So that's really important, I thought, for me too, where it's like we're going to change. Our industry is going to change. Our commission structure may change. I really don't know. Yeah. But what I know is that we're not going to be out of business.
Right.
So we have to be ahead of it. And I feel confident that we'll be ahead of it here.
Yeah, that's it. I love how laser focused you are, Mary, and how blunt you are as well, right? So we were laughing about that yesterday because you were like, I'm not coming to EXP. You're just straightforward. As soon as we sat down, you were like, I'm not coming. I'm not coming to EXP. I was like, good. Well, I'm not asking you to. So we're gonna get along just fine. But once you finally kind of look into it and you see all the things that come together, one of the things that you were looking for is the alignment to people that you knew could help you get to that next level, right? Like that was really important to you, and it should be really important to anybody. Is that okay? Now I understand how this works. There's going to be somebody that I'm joining at EXP that can either help me and add value to me, or they could maybe not help you and add value to you. So let's make sure if I'm going to be aligned to the right people, that I'm going to be in a group of people that are big thinkers and that are doing good business and that can really challenge me to get to the next level. And what you said a minute ago, Mary, with the fact that the agents that are joining here had to be a big thinker because the amount of time it takes to do the research and understand. I mean, somebody was telling me yesterday they did probably watched, what do they say, over 80 to 100 hours of videos. That's how analytical, right? Like that's a lot of time invested into it. But smart people and ambitious people and people that are taking the time to look at this opportunity and really understand it are not your average bears, right? They're going to be the ones that can help you get to the next level. And we're a whole company full of people that think that way. And so that's really cool to see the value in the group and the Honey Badger group that we have, and the people that are willing to reach out and help you, that are doing a couple $100 million in sales, and they have no ego whatsoever, because we all have stock, we all have alignment to the revenue share, and we're all trying to sell more real estate, and that's really a pretty good combination, I think. For sure. Definitely. And I am blunt. I know that's me, but that's because when you are focused, when you hear noise that's not aligned with your goal, which is what you said yesterday. Mm-hmm. I think it was yesterday. It's like, all right, we'll say yes until it doesn't make sense. So for me, as soon as I hear something that I know is not getting to my goal, it's not that I'm very open-minded. I'm like, that's not the focus now. Talk to me about that in a couple of years, maybe, not now. Right. And I think that that's a good way to be. Otherwise, you run around and you get drug off over this way, and then that looks good over here, and you never really, you're never. If everything's in alignment and it's moving towards your goal, at least if you fail, you're failing forward and moving towards your goal still. If it's over here, I'm saying, like like you said yesterday, it's a distraction. It's just a distraction. And so I do want to point out and tie up the loose end on that what we're all experiencing at EXP, and this is everybody at EXP, not just us here on the call today, but is that people are going to reach out to you. You're going to have relationships. You're going to have somebody that you got into the business because you sold their house, just like you guys in this situation. Mm-hmm. And those people we help get into real estate, they go somewhere. They might as well join you at EXP, and you get paid a little bit of revenue share from it. And it's not like, Mary's out here waving the flag of, hey, come join me at EXP. She's out here killing it in the business, doing well. People respect that. And they want to know her opinion about why they joined. And when they find out, and then they start to learn about what the opportunity really is at EXP, then they come join with you. And that's what happens. That's what agent attraction is. That's what recruiting is at EXP. It's just do what you do well and watch other people want to get close to you and figure out how to, reach out to you and ask you questions when they're looking for a change. And then you come over to EXP with us. That's just how it works. I haven't made a single cold call. I know Mary hasn't made a cold call, and people are going to reach out to Dave the same way they reached out to Mary. They reached out to me and everybody else that joins the company. It's the only way this company grows is if somebody in the company sponsors you.
And what ends up happening, I think, is that people tell you the challenges in their business, and it's not always the same thing. So some people will come over because they're looking for a retirement plan. So agent attraction is what they want to talk to you about. They want to talk about the stock because they're looking for an exit strategy. And some people like me are looking to grow their business, and that's what I wanted to talk about, right? And the other part isn't the most important thing. So when you get to talk to an agent, you just find out what their pain points are, and can we solve it here? And usually we can, right? And it's not always the same way. Right. Nope. We're going to solve it with collaboration, or we're going to solve it with the systems that we have, or we're going to we're going to solve it with the speed that things happen here. There's just so many different ways. So it's really just figuring out the gap and then just showing them how we can solve it. And for the right people, we can always.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my issues was not having an actual physical office to go to. And now I do. It's so exciting.
Right. Yeah, that's now there's a place to go to, and that's important. That's important to a lot of agents. They want, and they don't, and unfortunately they don't understand that. Oh, what, you can't have space here, and so there is options and things like that. Obviously, married space, you can leverage that space. You have the Regis space if it's close to you and it makes sense. That's free. You can use that for free. A lot of lenders and title companies are opening up their space for EXP agents because they need a place to go to. And then a lot of agents, I think, through 2020 and going through being forced to do deals from home, learned how to adapt a portion of their house to be able to do business in. And yeah, that's not easy. I can't do it in the house right now because I got 2 kids in home, still schooling at home because of COVID here is still school.
Yeah, but it worked at home at first, but now it got to a point where it just wasn't.
Get back to the office.
Well, cloud-based doesn't mean you have to work from your pajamas in your bed. Doesn't mean that. It means you can work from anywhere, right? And I think that's a misconception. Like, I was never someone who wanted to sit around in my pajamas on training classes. Like, that's never going to be me, right? But I love the fact that I can work from anywhere.
Right.
If I'm in a position that I have to work from home, or I love the fact that I walk into a closing with no paperwork and I walk out with no paperwork. There's no, I don't have any paper ever. I'm not bringing checks to the office and scanning things in. Like, I never did that anyway. I had an assistant because I hated doing that. But now she's not wasting her time doing that. The title company is emailing us.
Yeah.
Getting direct deposit.
And how much more efficient, like especially when you're at the level of production you're at, those little efficiencies are money savers, right? It's hours of time that's either your time or someone else's time, but it adds up over the course of multiple transactions over the course of the month. Is now you're able to do things faster, get things done easier, less friction, and it just makes life easier. And so, yeah, it's awesome.
So much more organized. We don't have any paper files. Like, we had to at our old office. I had to bring them all of our stuff from the closing. We had to have that. Right. I don't have that at all now. I will never print out anything ever. I remember when I was first in the business, I would go to closings and there'd be older agents, especially when I was new, and they'd bring these big fat folders, and I would feel intimidated because I'd be like, "What's in there?"
You got it.
I never started bringing folders just because I felt like I had to. Now I'm like, I have nothing. I'm never going to. Like, it's great.
Right.
I'm a little old school. I still print some stuff out.
I do too. I like to have the paper. I'm old school. It reminds me of a conversation when I got into real estate. They still had the MLS book. A lot of people that weren't in business back then don't know what the MLS book was, but the old MLS book was basically they would print it up once a month and it would have all the new listings and all the sales data and everything. And that was the information. It wasn't online. It was in the book. And so I had, a few years into the business, it's like 2001 maybe or something. And I joined the MLS committee, and then I ended up on the board of directors at the MLS. And we had a financial meeting, and it was the first one I've been in. And I was looking at the expenses, and I was like, what is this $80,000 for? And it was MLS books. And I said, we still have MLS books? I said, are you kidding me? I said, well, who's getting them? Where are these going? I've never even seen who's using it. Why and how are they? Why are they using it? It's like, it was mind boggling to me. And they were like, whoa, we got, probably 20 or 30 agents that still pay for these. And I said, why? I said, well, they print them every 60 days. So they're 60 days out of date the day that they get sent. And then however long they have to print them, get them back. And so it was crazy. And I remember I was showing this property, and this one lady, Betty Austin, was showing a property. She shows up to the house. It's got a sold sign on it. I'm in with the buyer, walking through the property, final walkthrough to go to closing. And she's walking with this young couple up to the house. and she's got her MLS book. She's like, "It's just Jay, is this available?" I'm like, "Betty, no, we're closing on it today. Like, it's long gone sold." And these poor buyers were looking at me like, "Somebody save me!" Like, it's just that's what happens when you stay comfortable where you're at and you don't evolve. And I don't like change. I don't like new technology. But man, when you just embrace it and it makes your life easier, it's like, oh, this is so much better. And I think a lot of agents are still sitting back, just being comfortable. And now's not the time to do that. Technology is changing rapidly. It's making things easier. It's making you a better agent, more professional, and able to do better for your clients. And so you gotta evolve and adapt.
Our strategies look at ours this year. I mean, we had to completely change our strategies on how we did everything, on how we sold houses, on how we showed them. Open houses, we were doing virtual tours. We had to completely adapt in what we were doing. And this group was a really great collaboration. I just came here. I came here and then COVID happened. It was awful. But the good thing is that everyone was talking about the strategies because this was new for all of us. None of us had ever been locked down into our house before where we couldn't meet with people. And our whole strategy on how we sell houses has changed to the point where we haven't changed it back because our market's so hot. Like, we only list on Thursdays. And all of our houses are sold on Monday with multiple offers, all of them. That's how we do it every single time. Yep. And that's a different strategy that I wasn't doing last year. I didn't have to do it that way.
Right.
So it's just going back on that is that you have to always be willing to adapt. And the technology, I mean, we could never use an MLS book now or any dated technology. Yeah. You're waiting now. No. It's already gone. They're sold in 4 days.
Right.
I'll tell you, Jay, I'm old enough that I remember looking for my first house through the MLS book.
Really?
Yeah. 1996. Oof.
Yeah. Yep.
If I had to do it that way and I didn't have GPS, I'd still be looking for my first listing appointment. Like, I don't know how they got around and maps and
printing out directions and
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was bad. I remember when I got into real estate, I was mowing yards before, which I always laugh about. Like, what a great transition to being a real estate agent, right? But the one thing it did do is I knew all the streets, so I had to know the streets to find the houses. I mean, you drive around forever. I had a map in the truck, always trying to find out where I'm at, where the houses are. But that helped. That was the only thing that transitioned well was learning the streets.
So we're real excited to have Dave on. Dave, when he came to KW, he was with me on a team. I was an expansion director. So we were on a team from a different market. And then Dave came over and we were on that team together. I only lasted 6 months on that team. But Dave, you made it 3.5 years. So not that there was anything wrong with it. It wasn't the right fit for me. But yes, and I'm glad we're working together again now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm very much appreciative of everything I learned from being on that team and all the people that were there. This was the right move for me at this time.
Yep. Makes sense, man. We're happy to have you aboard. Happy to be in business with you. Look forward to adding value and helping support you every way we can, and helping you build your business.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking to build my business and help Mary and Brian and the rest of the team build EXP and build the Murphy Group.
Love it.
So, all right, we're a team of 9 now. We came over a team of 3.
Right.
Now there's 9 of us. We just started an ISA. That was through you guys talking to me about that. John kind of helped me figure that part out of it. So
not the easiest hire to make, but you got one, so that's good.
Hardest ever. It was the hardest hire to make. It was hard. It's just hard to find the right person who's going to just do the job,
Right.
But I think we'll see.
Yeah.
Just started, so I can't make any big declarations yet, but I think he'll be good.
Good deal, guys. I appreciate you guys jumping on. Welcome aboard, Dave. Mary, it's always fun getting on with you and talking about your business and how you're killing it and letting you make bold statements on everything. I love it, your directness. So yeah, guys, anything I can do for you guys, let me know. Looking forward to it. If you guys are watching this and you haven't joined and you want to know more, reach out to these guys. Have a conversation. It's not going to hurt anything. You have to know what you don't know in order to get where you haven't ever been before. So if you're not happy where you're at, you just haven't learned something yet, and have an opportunity to reach out to these guys that can make a big difference and help you get there. And we'll see you either at the top or from the top.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
Right,
see you guys.
Thanks, Jay.